Ever dreamed about opening your closet in the morning and knowing that every single piece is a real option that you feel amazing in? Whether you're starting from scratch or evolving your style, you deserve to feel good in the clothes that you wear every single day. And I truly believe that having a closet you love and clothes that you feel good in is accessible to everyone, regardless of your budget. Hi, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm McKay. I make videos about practical style and small wardrobing. Today's video is all about building a high quality wardrobe, being intentional, and learning how to make better shopping decisions. Number one, go slow. You may be tempted to rush through the rebuilding process, but I really encourage you to slow down for several reasons. Flexibility to adjust. Having more time to define your style is definitely a benefit. Slowing down and giving yourself time to really experiment and play with these new pieces before adding more gives you time to make sure that you're on the right track and that these things actually do work for your lifestyle and your preferences. For example, maybe you add a fitted cashmere sweater to your collection, you try styling it several different ways, and then you come to realize you actually don't love fitted sweaters and you're much better suited to something that's a bit more oversized. It gives you time to play with things and to really test and learn and see if you're on the right track. And as you are on the right track, you'll get more confident in your style, more confident in your decisions, and you'll continue to make better choices. And if you don't like a piece here or there, that's fine, that's totally normal, and it gives you time to adjust and be flexible with future purchases. Another benefit is improved personal style. Rewearing clothes helps you find your style because you're able to wear the same thing in several different ways and figure out what resonates with you and really develop a signature style. If you're always wearing the same bag or the same coat, those things are going to become signature pieces in your collection and they're going to become synonymous with your unique style. Those things will also start informing what other things you decide to bring into your wardrobe because you're probably going to want to match things to your coat, to your bag, whatever those things are that are your go-tos. Basically, it's hard to have a consistent style if you're constantly wearing new things. So re-wearing is a good thing. The next benefit is a more cohesive wardrobe. As you curate things that complement each other, it's naturally going to be easy to mix and match, and you're gonna have a lot more versatility. It'll be a lot easier to get dressed if things naturally tend to go together, and that also means that you'll need less clothes. Less stress. Moving at a slower pace takes away a lot of that pressure to get it right on the first try, and gives you time to be more flexible, not to mention reducing decision fatigue. Lastly is obviously better budgeting. Prices are going up like crazy right now, so it's obviously a lot better for a wallet if you're able to take things slow. You'll be able to prioritize based off of what you really need, and it'll help you avoid impulse purchases. Gradually rebuilding means that you're able to allocate more money towards high quality pieces over things that are going to be lower quality and are going to fall apart and need to be replaced. Personally, I'm in a state of rebuild and I'm aiming for about 1 to 2 pieces per month at most. Obviously, there's nuance here and every situation is different, so use your best judgment. This is just a very general rule of thumb that I like to follow. I find this is a nice balance between two major camps that I hear about. The first is to buy everything up front and to just hope that it works out. And on the other side, you have folks who have already built their wardrobe up and they have a really nice foundation and might only need to buy a few new things a year. Tip number 2, audit what you actually wear. And this is such an important step that I think a lot of people overlook. Oftentimes there's a disconnect between what we think we're wearing and what we're actually wearing on a daily basis, and it's important to understand that. If you really want to go the extra mile, you can gather a little bit of data. For example, if you post on Instagram regularly, maybe go through your feed and just see what kind of outfits you're wearing. What are ones that you really love? Are there others that you just feel okay about or others that you straight up don't like at all? And try to think about why that is. You could also go through the photos on your phone and just take note of what you're wearing and what you feel good in. If you really want to take it a step further and get super clear on what you're wearing and what you're feeling good in and you gravitate towards, I highly recommend that you either take photos of yourself regularly, like take an everyday photo of your outfit and just do that for a little while until you have some data. You can also digitally track your wardrobe, which is going to give you very precise data about what you gravitate towards. I don't think there's a right or a wrong here, but really take time to sit down and be intentional and think through what you gravitate towards. Then it's really important to look for commonalities. Is there something in common with the fit, the color, the fabric, the way that it hits on you? What exactly is it? And then also try to do the same with the things that you're not wearing. Are there things sitting in the back of your wardrobe? What is it about them that doesn't make them perfect? You don't love them. Try to really hone in on that, and that is going to save you the most money in the long run because you'll be able to avoid kind of those pitfalls. You'll be able to avoid buying things that continually don't work for you, and you'll be able to really hone in on the things that you do like. Tip number 3, develop a personal color palette. This will massively simplify your decisions as you're shopping. It'll reduce decision fatigue and just make sure that things are going to be a lot more versatile, that they mix and match with each other. I'm a huge believer in seasonal color analysis, and it really helped me find colors that I felt good in. But regardless of what you do, find colors that make you feel good. I have a video all about seasonal color analysis if you want to learn more about how to find colors that harmonize with your unique features. But I do want to share a few tips here as well. If you're looking for a general place to start, try matching colors with your undertone. If you have a very warm gold undertone, you're probably going to look and feel your best in colors that are also reflective of that have warm qualities to them. And you're probably going to feel drained in things that are very icy and cool toned. And vice versa. If you're cool toned, you're likely going to feel your best in cool tones and find that they're more flattering on you. One way to experiment is to just play around with draping colors on yourself. To do this, first off, make sure that you have no makeup on, and you want to find a spot with good natural light. This should be indirect light. So if it's direct light, you're going to have shadows in your face, which is going to be too harsh, and it's going to be difficult to tell how the colors are affecting you because of those shadows. Once you find indirect light, take different selfies and just try draping different colors on. Try all kinds of things that you already have in your closet, and just take tons of selfies straight on in natural light and take a look at them. See how you feel. Are there colors that you feel like drain you? Are there other things that bring out your eyes? Just see if you have any kind of preference. Personally, I learned that I'm cool toned, and as I started experimenting with more cool tones, I realized that I didn't really want to wear anything else. And that's why blue and grays have become such a foundation of my wardrobe. As I continue to build out my wardrobe, I always have that in the back of my mind that most things should generally be going with blue and gray because I'm always going to have that in my closet. Number 4, have a North Star. Have a vision of the way that you'd like to dress and gather inspiration. You could create a mood board on Pinterest or save different posts on Instagram. Whatever it is, find something that inspires you. Over time, you can see common themes between these and really figure out what exactly it is that you want to be guiding principles and kind of a North Star in your wardrobe. These are things that you can always go back to, and you can kind of think, do these things in my shopping cart align with this vision that I have? Ideally, these things are in line with your lifestyle. So if you live a super active, casual lifestyle, it might not make sense if you're only pinning things that are occasion wear. Try to find things that are relatively realistic and practical and are things that you can envision yourself wearing at some point in time. Over time, you'll be able to find common themes throughout this and really use this as a reference point, especially as you're shopping and you might be trying to figure out where to take your style. You can always go back to this as a reference. As you're shopping, you can ask if those pieces would also fit with these different mood boards and these different things that you've saved, and just try to make sure that they're relatively in line with each other. Having a mood board doesn't just inspire, but it helps keep things cohesive and intentional, and it can even be a great tool for styling things that you already own. Tip number 5, make a wish list. Having a wish list helps you shop intentionally. It helps prioritize the things that are important and really helps us kind of put some blinders on to trends and sales. It's also a great stopgap to have in place and to let that initial excitement wear off. There have been so many times when I've become enamored with an idea, I feel like there's a piece of clothing that I just have to have, or there's this gap that is blaringly obvious, and then as time goes on, I totally forget about it. A wish list will give you that time to let that excitement kind of fade away a bit and to see what's actually left. You can add anything at any time. It doesn't have to be a well thought out idea. It can just be a fleeting thought. Add it to the list and let it kind of marinate for a while. And you might be surprised how often things will fall off gradually just with time and you become less excited about them. On the flip side, you might also see that there was something that didn't make the cut last year on your winter list and it's still on your list now, and you realize that actually is a really high priority gap to fill. Keep your wish list somewhere accessible, like in the Notes app on your phone, and go through it somewhat regularly. As you get closer to purchasing, try to get pretty specific so that you can get exactly what you want. Tip number 6, identify well-made clothes. The more you practice recognizing quality, the easier it's going to be to spot great finds, no matter where you're shopping. Always check the clothing label for fiber content. This will tell you exactly what the piece is made of, and keep in mind that not all fibers are created equally. Natural fibers are generally going to be a better pick. This includes things like cotton, wool, cashmere, linen, silk, and so on. These things are generally going to last a lot better, and they're just gonna feel a lot better. They're gonna feel more comfortable and breathable. While synthetics do have their place place. There certainly are times to use synthetics. They're often nowadays used as cheap fillers. As a general rule, natural fibers are usually the way to go. My other tip in this category is to window shop and try things on. Treat window shopping like a hands-on learning experience and go to all kinds of stores. Go to high-end stores even if you have no intention to buy and just see how things look and feel. Look at the stitching. Is it even? Is it secure? Are there loose threads? That could be a sign that it's not going to last very long if you're already noticing problems in store. Feel the fabric. Does it drape nicely? Is it flimsy? What are its characteristics? What do you like and what do you not like? Check the construction details. Are the buttons secure? Are there nice finishing touches? Generally, what does the construction look like? The goal here is to really build a baseline understanding of what good quality clothes feel like so that you can recognize it out and about, whether you're in the sale section or you're thrifting, or if you're wanting to make a bigger investment. Develop a habit of checking secondhand. They don't make things like they used to. If you can afford to shop at places like H&M and Zara, you can often find much higher quality pieces on the secondhand market for the same price as you would a new item of much lower quality. You can find some really great gems at local thrift stores. I've thrifted for my entire life, and I can tell you I found some really incredible things. If you're interested in thrifting tips and tricks, I made a video all about how to find the best pieces while you're thrifting. However, at the end of the day, thrifting can be pretty time consuming, and I understand that the quality of inventory can really vary depending on where you live. And depending on where you are, thrifting might not be a good option, and that's okay. There are some really great apps for finding things pre-loved. You might even find the exact item that you're looking for, especially if it's a more popular brand or piece. Things that come to mind are Everlane, J. Crew, Ralph Lauren, etc. Those are really easy to find. I found so many great pre-loved pieces online. Earlier this year, I found a top from last year's collection at And Other Stories that I had really loved at the time that I saw it, but it just wasn't really in the budget and wasn't a priority, so I passed on it and didn't really think about it much more until I found it on Poshmark, new with tags, in my size for probably half the price, and I was so excited to find it. Another example is earlier this year, I finally decided that after lusting after the Sézane Paula babies for months, I was finally going to get them. Right as I was about to check out on Sézane, I had the idea to just check and see if there was anything pre-loved. I wasn't really expecting anything, but I somehow was able to find a pair in my size, in the color that I wanted, and I was so surprised. I was super lucky. I found exactly what I was looking for. It was something that I was going to buy regardless, but it was for a heavily discounted price, and I don't even think they had ever been worn. So you just never know. Always check secondhand if you can. You could find something really amazing. And of course, if something doesn't work out, you can always resell it. You can often resell things for a similar price and get most, if not all, of your money back. I find that Poshmark tends to have the best selection for mid-range clothing, and they also have the biggest inventory. Depop tends to lean towards more Y2K, trendy pieces, and fast fashion, but I do still use it and it does have a purpose. eBay's great for vintage pieces and things that are a little bit more high-end. I've also really wanted to try out the RealReal, but I haven't really had any success there, so let me know if you have any tips. That being said, I just always go back to Poshmark for everyday wear. My only complaint is that it's not the most user-friendly. Depop will typically try to learn the things that I like and it'll serve me similar items, whereas Poshmark doesn't do a very good job of that, so you have to dig a little bit sometimes. Tip 8, know when and where to splurge. Invest in your workhorses and save aggressively where you can. Think about your lifestyle and where it makes the most sense to invest. Consider the pieces that you'll wear the most, and also think about the things that you need to protect you from the elements. Personally, I'm willing to invest more in shoes, outerwear, knitwear, and pants, but those could be very different for you. If you're on your feet all day, it might make sense to invest in a high-quality pair of comfortable shoes, and then saving on things like special occasion wear that aren't going to get nearly as much use. If you live somewhere with a short or mild summer, you could get away with spending less there, and you might want to reallocate those dollars towards another season. One of the best investments I made was on a good puffer coat last year. I go on daily walks with my dog. It's rainy and I get cold easily, so I really needed something that was going to protect me and keep me warm. My previous 2 coats were from a Black Friday sale, and previous to that, it was a clearance coat from Forever 21, so I was definitely in need of something better. I finally decided to invest in a nice puffer coat, and I couldn't be any happier. I've worn it 75 times in the last year, and I know that I'm probably going to wear it 75 more times this year, and so on. I save by limiting my collection of summer clothes, occasion wear, athletic clothes, loungewear, and blouses, and I shop affordable brands for t-shirts and base layers. While it's important to choose clothes that will last, there is a point of diminishing returns where it just doesn't make sense to spend more. Something like a white t-shirt, no matter how much you spend, it's eventually going to get stained, it'll be worn out, and it's going to need replacing. So that, for example, is not something that I would ever be willing to spend a large amount of money on. Even if it's a little bit higher quality, it doesn't matter, it's gonna get worn out either way. Another example is that I'm willing to spend a little more on jeans and get something that's more mid-range, because it's so hard for me to find pants that actually fit my proportions. I eventually found a pair that actually fit me. It didn't need tailoring and I felt really good in them, so I was willing to pay a little bit more. But above a certain price point, it just stops making sense because they're not gonna last significantly longer and I'm gonna wear them into the ground either way. Anyway, I'd love to know what things you save and splurge on. Having a wardrobe that you love is possible. Take your time, be intentional, and invest in pieces that will last for years to come. I'd love to hear about your tips for building a high quality wardrobe in the comments below. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.